Asset management has historically been an innovator, and I think it's important because to me, there's three buckets of innovation or types of innovation that we see in fintech. One is product innovation, and this is what historically the financial services industry has been really good at. A lot of times it had to do with how fast one can trade or how quickly they can calculate something to the highest degree of accuracy before anyone else can, and that would enable some extra profitability out of a particular transaction or a particular event. So I think with regulation, a lot of that type of innovation has got put back on the back burner. And even though I think there's still some opportunities as people are still trying, in general, there's not as much interest or as much excitement about that innovation. The other bucket is what I think of as efficiency innovation. And that is basically a category where if you think about where banks and large financial services firms have had to spend their effort and money in the recent years, it's been legal and compliance. And there hasn't been a lot that's been invested into the infrastructure and the processes that make that internal infrastructure more efficient. That could be anything from just reconciling and unlocking various data within the organization and, having various systems that don't talk to each other. So when you look at who gets excited about those kinds of things, is generally not venture capital. It's generally strategics, is generally maybe some people come from the industry and understand the fact that it's going to be a lot easier for those solutions to get adoption and potentially scale much faster than if this was a truly disruptive category. And the disruptive category is where I'm going with this, because you mentioned blockchain, and that would be a great example of technology that is certainly foreign, when it comes to a lot of the processes currently in place, certainly holds a lot of promise when it comes to something new and different, and actually holds the promise of some efficiencies and extra security. But it's certainly something that the financial services industry is not ready to adopt anytime soon. And this is my personal view. I think there's tremendous value in blockchain when it comes to thinking of identity for an individual, a business, a transaction, security, it could be anything that sort of travels through the financial services system. And I think there are some very interesting things that can be applied within this larger framework. But when you look at a consortium of, dozens of banks being formed to explore blockchain applications, you just know it's going to be a very long time. But I do think ultimately, if you think of it through this lens of identity management, and all participants, whether it's regulators or internal participants or partners, can look at the same version of the truth at the same time and not have to reconcile all the different aspects that they typically reconcile manually. That there's going to be enormous efficiency that will be achieved in the long run. And I think probably a safer system and a more efficient system.